Hi, welcome back to the channel. Crazy Cat Lady here with Lucky just walking through, of course. I'm currently on day 4 of the 30 sit-ups a day for the whole of November challenge. It's for the Samaritans, for suicide prevention. And I wanted to talk a little bit about why I decided to do this. Mental health is something I've been struggling with since early adolescence. I also know many other people who also have mental health issues and have struggled with self-harm and attempted suicide, and sadly some that have committed suicide, both of which I have done myself. For me, my mental health issues started in early adolescence, and I think it was a combination of factors that triggered it in me. Possibly the surging hormones with adolescence. That does sometimes seem to be a factor in mental health. I suffered a bereavement of a very close family member the day after my 11th birthday, and then 6 weeks later my mother discovered my father was cheating on her, and he left us a short time after that. While I did have some contact, by the time I was 15, certainly by the time I was 16, that was over. I was also starting senior school that year, my 11th year, and senior school is very different to middle school and first school. The environment's very different, and I didn't go to the same senior school as my friends, which looking back now I think was a mistake. So when I went into this very different, very unfamiliar environment, I didn't know anyone, and I really struggled to find my footing, and I got bullied. Went to another school, but I couldn't settle in. Around the same time I was developing problems with eating. I was never diagnosed as anorexic or bulimic or needed hospitalisation for them, which is good, but eating problems is something that has dogged me since adolescence, and it's only been in the last few years that things have improved. I wouldn't say it's perfect, but it's a lot better than it was. But around 13 I also started to self-harm as well, and I attempted suicide for the first time, and no, it wasn't the last time either. And at the time when I did attempt suicide, I felt like I was up to my neck in this endless ocean of darkness, and the waves were just constantly coming in. They were coming up over my head, and I just felt like I didn't have any other option, any way of saving myself, or any way to stop feeling as alone and desperate as I was. Throughout the rest of my adolescence into my early 20s, I continued to struggle with self-harm, and I went on various different antidepressants. The one I'm on now is probably the best that I've ever been on. It was in my early 20s that the last psychologist I saw suggested that I try volunteering. as a way to improve my confidence and anxiety, because as it often does with depression, I also became very anxious. I had panic attacks, and I couldn't go out on my own, and I pretty much just had no life, no social life or anything. And I started to volunteer as a way of getting out and about, meeting new people, learning to communicate again, because that's something you do lose when you're not really interacting with anyone. You lose the art of conversation, and just being alone doesn't help your mental health. So well, at least for me personally, it certainly doesn't. And yes, I did benefit from interacting with others, and from volunteering a couple of days a week, and from there I started actually working paid work, and my mental health has improved. It's not perfect. I do still take antidepressants, and I do panic easily, but I do have more confidence in myself than I did have this time 10 years ago, certainly more than I did 20 years ago. So yeah, as I said, what I'm hoping to come out of this challenge is to raise awareness about mental health and self-harm and suicide, and to prevent anyone else from ever even reaching that point where they're even thinking about hurting themselves. It's not a place that anyone should ever be. They should never feel that that is their only option. And so I hope that my efforts in this challenge will help to stop that from happening. And yeah, so as I said, I'm 4 days in. I may do a follow-up on this on day 30. That will be 900 sit-ups by then, I think. I'll link the challenge in the description if you want to check it out, and I hope to see you in a future video.